Hello, you beautiful little marketing bees. You're tuned into episode 42 of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast.
This is the Marketing Buzzword Podcast, the podcast where we dissect the world's most common marketing buzzwords. Hold on tight. We are about to fly around the beehive to see the latest buzzwords that stuck to the marketing bees.
Hello, and welcome to the bite-sized section of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast and Project, aptly named Bitesize Buzzword. I'm Ben Roberts, and in these bite-sized, snackable episodes, I'm going to help you dive deeper into what a specific marketing buzzword actually means, help you decide whether it is or isn't important for your business, and if it is, how you can actually incorporate that buzzword into your marketing strategy. So, this week we're going to look at the buzzword, user-generated content, or UGC for short, and we'll look at the importance it has for your business. And just before I do that, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. If you haven't taken a look yet, please look at the crowdfunding campaign for the new book, which is obviously based on the podcast, Marketing Buzzword to Marketing Authority. I'm going to put a link in the on the website, marketingbuzzword.com, but please check it out. We need to get a minimum of 250 pre-orders to be pitched to the big 5 publishers, and honestly, if you can order a single copy, that would be absolutely amazing. And please leave a review of the show on iTunes as well, if you get a chance. So, in this episode, we're going to look at what is UGC. We're going to dive deeper into sort of why it's important, sort of the different types of user-generated content. We'll look at how you find out whether it is or isn't relevant to your business and some of the benefits. And then we're going to sort of look at how you actually get more UGC and how do you get the right level of UGC. So let's crack straight on with it then. So user-generated content is essentially what it does what it says on the tin. It's your users, your customers, your visitors creating the content that you can ultimately use to help promote yourself or better your company or your service or your event. Essentially, it's stuff that's content that's produced by your customers or advocates, which helps inform other prospective users, helps inform other current users or even past users of what is going on. And basically it's leveraging the power of your fans, because generally you're going to have more fans than anything else, in terms of you potentially may have more customers than employees, potentially you should have customers that really like what you do and have been around for a long time, and you want them to create content. And we'll go into why. And this episode was something that was off the back of the episode that I did with Mordecai Holt, and he was talking about user-generated content and the stuff they've been doing for the city of Jerusalem, which I found absolutely fascinating. And I've always been a big fan of things like online reviews and user-generated content, and it was just a great way of being able to get a new perspective on it. So if you do get a chance, check out his episode, because I really loved that one. And why is user-generated content important then, and what are sort of the different types? It's important because it builds trust, and because it's done by a third party and not the business itself, it has so much more trust and authenticity attached to it. Because it's usually created sometimes on another site, sometimes it's produced on the company's site itself. I'd advise you try and do it in the most independent way possible. But it gives that level of trust, and it's seen as unbiased because it's just from a customer. It's seen like someone who isn't paid to write this. It's someone they're doing it off their own back because they genuinely believe in your company, your product, your service, or your event. Now, that content can come in any form. I mean, it as long as it's basically any form of content that you could produce as a marketing team or a marketing department, then that's what users can create for you. Now, some forms are slightly more natural to some businesses over others. So, for example, if you have an events company, some real stark imagery of like the actual events is perfect. If you're maybe more of a SaaS company, maybe more blogs or videos. If you're someone who works in the creative industry, you want to go down that really image-heavy route again. And all all sort of depends. If you want to sort of have a real technical product, you may want to do explainer videos, or you have your customers that come in and actually explain how to use your product. So they go on YouTube and they demonstrate your product. That's amazing user-generated content. When your customers are going out there and creating videos, for example, about your service. And there are different types which are natural to different businesses, but you need to find one which is suitable to you if you think it's relevant. And now this is where we move on to the next section. How do you actually know if user-generated content is relevant to your business? And what would be the benefits of having your customers create user-generated content for you? Now, for me, I think it's a much softer approach of marketing. It's not, because trust has been eroded away in businesses. People don't trust. I mean, I can look back, and I've done some of my keynotes looking at actually how trust has been eroded by biggest things. Just for example, let's use the Volkswagen emissions scandal. There are things of L'Oreal using actresses that actually hadn't used the product, and all you could reel off hundreds. You could literally just Google for misleading adverts, false adverts, whatever it is, and people then don't trust businesses. And actually and they don't trust what they say, and they think, oh, I'm just trying to sell to me. Whereas actually, when someone isn't being paid and they're doing it off their own back because they really like the product, that's a much softer way of selling. And actually, sometimes that's a bit more persuasive because you're not actually trying to sell. And it sounds counterproductive, like I'm not trying to sell, but then you actually sell more. And it's sometimes a difficult thing to get your head around, but there is so much evidence actually out there that sort of talks about actually how all your conversion rates improve. And another benefit that sort of, I think, something that flies a little bit under the radar when we start talking about user-generated content in UGC is the fact that there are some huge SEO benefits. So one of the examples I mentioned earlier is if you had a software product, then actually if people do YouTube videos about your product, you get amazing sort of SEO traction from that because they mention your product in the name. YouTube is obviously a Google-owned website. You get all videos get ranked in there, and they get passed through the algorithm, and people find out more about you, and it passes you get traffic which goes back to your site. You can even embed those own videos within your website. People, when they write sort of blogs or reviews, or they write testimonials, case studies, they use certain words and phrases which are highly relevant to your business, potentially mentioning your business by name. So you get real fresh content, you get some of the keywords made, some short tail ones and branded keywords such as your name and maybe the name of your product. But then you also get some of those long tail benefits. For example, how does this work? Why is it important? All those little things that actually people search for all the time on Google, for example. Oh wow, sorry, that was my cat attacking or something. Anyway, back to it. I lost one thing. Oh god, my cat's distracted me now. And it's also natural language. So with that, I mean, oh god, the cat's gone completely crazy. Hey, no, we're back in the game. And it's about natural language as well. Remember, Google likes to see things that are written in the way that people like to consume. So if things are seen as not natural, they're written like almost algorithmic, and they're written to try and play the system, that's not great. But actually, it's in a way that people actually speak. That is an amazing way of actually being able to gain SEO traction, especially when people are speaking, and you've got all this VoIP stuff where people and through your smart speakers. It's absolutely amazing, and that's how natural language become even more important in terms of SEO going forward. And then something else to think about, another thing to decide whether it's relevant for your business, is actually the shareability of it. And I think it's a great benefit because a lot of user-generated content, more and more so, is being produced on social. Instagram's a huge growth sort of market for events and product companies, even service companies are getting some amazing traction on Instagram. Now, if you think about social, this is where your message can get amplified. Yes, there's a huge amount of noise there, but actually, if you want to gain traction in that market, having other people share your content for you and create content for you eases the burden on your marketing team, and it increases that authenticity and that trust in your business. It also helps provide evidence. When other people talk about something, people believe it more. It is common sense, but it's something that instead of you trying to blow your own trumpet, get your customers to try and blow your trumpet for you. Get them to talk about how great your event is. Because if you say, "Oh, we hosted a great event tonight," yeah, every Tom, Dick and Harry is going to say that, because everyone's going to say, "Oh, we put on a terrible event tonight." But other people who just attend it are going to be more honest about that. And if you can help harness that power and encourage this user-generated content from them, you'll start seeing massive benefits in terms of sales. And conversions as well. If you, as a benefit to UGC, obviously sales has got to be at the crux of it, because if you're not making money from this and you're not able to increase conversions, then actually it's not very beneficial. However, evidence that I could pull out so many stats, and I'm going to just leave it to you and you decide which ones you want. But if you just Google, or you can use other search engines like DuckDuckGo or Bing, whatever. But if you just have a look, there is so much evidence that shows that user-generated content aids massively in conversion rates. And I know I've used this and I've done this stuff myself, and I've increased conversion rates. I think at the last company it was about 8% just by increasing the amount of user-generated content and evidence upon our website and our landing pages. Now, the other thing people then ask and get concerned about with user-generated content, they say, "But does it matter? I haven't got a huge number of customers." Now, it's all relative. In terms of, if you are a mass market B2C company with a huge number of customers, you'll be expected to have much more user-generated content because you have a wider base. But if you are a small one-man band, two-man band, three-man, whatever it is, you're not expected to have massive amounts of customers. You're not expected to produce masses of UGC, as long as you can provide timely, relevant and accurate user-generated content. So you've encouraged your customers, your stakeholders, to create this content for you. That's great. As long as it's consistent and it's relevant, then that's absolutely brilliant. They're not expecting you to have masses and masses of hundreds of customers, because if you're a 1-2 man band, that's just unrealistic and people don't expect that. Now, this all sounds well and good, but obviously you want to know is that all sounds good, and you're like, yeah, I can understand maybe the benefits that UGC will bring, but how do you actually get more user-generated content, and how do you get the right user-generated content? This is a question I asked Mordecai in our episode, and it's brilliant, and it's simply just asking. Like, if you want just reviews, you want people to write blogs, if you want people to write case studies, you just simply got to ask, and that's not being afraid. People are happy to do that, especially, for example, if you put some user-generated content on there where they've written a blog on your website and they got a backlink back to people are willing to do that stuff because they get a little bit of something out of it, and they love the fact that you want to feature their stuff. Now, as a company, if you start featuring stuff that your customers have created, they will love you for it, because they love to be acknowledged and appreciated by the brand that they've created content for. You can do competitions and promos to try and help get you more user-generated content. You're able to create guidelines. So if you are outreaching to loads of people, there's nothing wrong with creating guidelines and say, look, you want you to have your own creativity, your own stamp, your own thing. But we're specifically looking for a type of content like this. We're specifically looking for images of this location. We're specifically looking for how you've improved conversion rates, whatever it is, or how you actually use the product on a daily basis. Now, there's no reason, as long as you're not specific and you're directing people, because it's like with influencer marketing, you have to give people their own space, and you have to give people their own creative license to be able to appeal in the way and write in the way that best suits them, because that's what resonates with people. It's all about that authenticity and trust. And it's amazing. I think it's one of the things. Just ask. You're able to run competitions and promo, but don't tell people they have to do things in a certain way, because that never ends well. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm so sorry for the interruptions of the cat halfway through, but it's fine. We got through it. I've finally got my mind back on track. And if you are enjoying the Marketing Buzzword podcast, the series, the 2 episodes a week we're doing, please do take a look at the Publishizer page for the crowdfunding for the book. We've got like 20 something days left. We're smashing through the target at the moment. I really want as many of you, just please, just even if it's just one order of the book, I'll be so appreciative. And obviously the more orders you get, the more bigger publishers that the book gets pushed and showcased to. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back on Monday with another guest episode. Goodbye.
This podcast is part of the You Are the Media Network.